Oh, go live. Oh, there we go. You have to hit an extra button on YouTube. That's dumb. Okay. That's funny. Well, then let me redo my intro. How is everyone doing? How are levels among other things? Like how are you? How is life? How is Halloween treating you? Yeah. Yeah, bud. I know that you're good. Mr. Cat, you get everything in the world that you want. Yeah. Except maybe going outside. That's the only thing you don't get. Alright. If you are able to chat, let me know how levels look. Am I too loud? Am I too soft? Is the background music too loud or too soft? I can adjust both of those. We're going to give things another minute or so. I should probably not have analytics up because that is going to ruin my... That's going to be a bad time if I just have to look at analytics all the time. We're just going to be drawing. Sounds like my mic is the webcam mic. That... What the hell? No music. Okay. Audio input. Properties. Check, 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 check. Okay, let me... Focus rate. Okay. Oh boy, that's quite a bit louder. Hello. Okay, mic aux off, audio input capture on. Let's go back to my web desktop audio is just not happening, huh? Okay. Now I need to be louder. Check that out. Check, check, check. Oh, that's peaking. That's okay. Oh, now I'm coming in through one ear. How do I gotta do the thing that fixes that shit again. Alright, there is a setting that puts me mono and not out of one ear. I forgot what I have to do. Really? Okay, because it's just showing one channel for me in the mixer. Just showing like the top channel. I forget if that's left or right. Oh. Anyway. Desktop might be a hair quiet. Now you should have piano. doing some lo-fi beats. Well, if I'm in both ears, I'll believe it. Cool. All right. Well, if anything gets too loud, we can adjust that. Turn that down a little bit for myself. Okay, fun. Well, I guess no point in holding off any longer. Boo. So, let's get to it, shall we? Hi there. I'm Justin. We are streaming. We are drawing. It is Halloween. The best day of the year. It is my sister's birthday, but that's not necessarily why it's the best day of the year. It is just kind of a very interesting coincidence. Shout out, Haley. You're not watching, but happy birthday. So, I guess the big question is, what are we doing here? We're drawing. I think that's the plan. So I kind of made up a short list of what I kind of want to do. And so, what are we drawing? Well, first off, it's Halloween. That's the most important thing. It's Halloween. So we should probably do something Halloween related. Maybe something spooky. I'm you know, but what could that be? Witches, zombies, ghosts, vampires? You know. Do I want to do spooky but actually kind of like cute spooky? Or do I want to draw like something actually scary? You know, part of me feels like there's enough horror in the world just naturally as is. So there's something fun about cute spooky, you know, like to me that word is very specifically like there's a picture of Clifford the Big Red Dog as a puppy, and he's got a little ghost, like sheet ghost outfit on, and it's extremely cute. But to me, that is spooky. That's not necessarily scary. And so the question is, do we want to go spooky or do we want to go scary? Because then that changes kind of how we draw what we're drawing. And then, of course, we're going to finish off kind of talking about what I'm dubbing the November art surge, which is kind of the start of my grand plans for drawing in November and December, just kind of through the end of the year. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to do a brand new canvas. We are going to do a 4,000 by 4,000 square. We're going to keep it 300 DPI. And so that means we're going to get in nice and close. So just to kind of show off what we're working with. We got lots of resolution here. Oh, where'd that come from? There we go. So lots of resolution. Lots of stuff to kind of play around with. I and maybe not quite as warmed up as I thought I'd be for this point in the evening. I did those silly doodles from earlier, like I did that guy kind of as a warm up, but that's not quite enough. So I think really quickly, I'm just going to do some quick gestures. I think we're going to go ahead and get a pencil going. I'm just going to do a handful. So choose your gesture program of choice. I'm using Sketch Daily today. Your mode of choice. We're just going to kind of keep it all. I'm going to do 2 minutes if you want to join in. And then we're just going to go ahead and... Oh, that is a little bit high. So I recently changed my opacity settings. Let me pause this. Or changed my pressure settings. So I was having this issue before. Let me grab this brush here to kind of show it off. Where let's get a bigger one. I wasn't able to kind of do that smoothly. I wasn't able to kind of get a really smooth pressure curve or opacity curve. If we go to opacity, you can really see it. You know, it would it would basically kind of look like that, where you'd have like a super hard edge. And so I fixed it. I was finally able to figure out what to do to fix that, but that screwed up all of my pencils. So I am having a hard time. I was using this, it was like a free brush in the Clip Studio store called Mpitsu R, like real pencil basically. And it does some really nice things. So that's, I've got like my brush tilted really far, and kind of it's got, okay, why is that? Oh, it's doing tilt. That's what's going on. Okay, that's probably part of it. So I just need to find the pencil that works for me again. It almost is counterintuitive, because if you do, like if you hold the pencil like kind of flat, like you're doing shading, like you would with a real pencil, it does like really, you know, that shades like a real pencil, but then you kind of hold it at normal writing angle, and it turns out thicker than you kind of want it. You know what I mean? So I think it's just a learning curve. Go ahead and... Alrighty. Now that I've bored you all with technical problems with my damn drawing tablet, we'll go ahead and get started here. That's way too long. So the main thing I'm focusing on right now with my gesture is I want to kind of try to limit the number of pencil strokes I use. I'm really trying to avoid like that thing, nice smooth lines. And of course, getting decent proportions. So got an issue there. Hand's way too big. And of course, issues with your tools don't help that much. It's also making me like press a little bit harder than I want to. Yeah, I mean, for me, I blaming your tools is like kind of a cop out, but I did make a tool change super recently to kind of make it easier to paint, and it's screwing with this pencil like really badly. Because like kind of before I was using darker pencil, and it was kind of like there's just a really weird pressure curve on these pencils now that I kind of have to I'm now pressing kind of like as lightly as I can, and that looks fine, but it's it's a learning curve. Okay. Hey, here's a really zombie pose. So this one, she's got her shoulder, like one shoulder way up here, the other shoulder way down here. Perspective makes this look really rough. Just because I'm not super used to drawing people in perspective yet. It's not something I've done a whole lot of, but we'll go ahead and I got 2 minutes per pose, so I'm gonna go ahead and it's like that. There's the rib cage, and the hips kind of go across like this. Then leg down. And then a little bit forward like that, and then you kind of have this zombie arm thing going on, and then some real funky poses today. This will be the last one I do. I'm feeling a little bit better about where I'm at. The head is basically like covering up the shoulder, and then we have the shoulder way out here. And she's doing this thing with her arm. And there's kind of like this weird giant S-curve. She's also wearing what looks like a leather dress, so everything is like kind of all one crazy leather texture. So I'm going to go ahead and, for my own use cases, I'm just going to draw the body underneath just so that I have something like that. Just actually much thinner, so it's kind of doing that thing. This one's hard to... Anyway. All right, so that's some gestures. Now it kind of comes to the big thing. What are we drawing? What the hell are we actually drawing tonight? Kind of... Maybe we can go ahead and talk about the art surge while I try to find a reference to pull from. There is an artist on YouTube that I follow pretty closely, Mark Burnett. A couple weeks ago, he put out a video of like 30 days of character drawing. And I kind of feel like it's a sequel to a couple years ago. He did like a 30 days, learn how to draw in 30 days thing. And I did that in November last year. And, you know, that one's really simple. It's like day one, you draw a circle and you cut it in half. You know, day two, you do the same thing, but you put another one behind it. So now you've got two spheres with a little bit of perspective. Then it just kind of goes onward and onward and onward until you're drawing things in, like, you know, you're drawing 2-point perspective. It's not quite right. You know. It's like a really solid foundation. Anyway, he put one out a couple weeks ago that's kind of exactly that, but for character art. And a lot of it is just like fan art stuff. You just start off with like, hey, find a character you like, and you're just going to copy the line art on that character. And then it's, okay, now you're going to do that from memory. And now you're going to draw some faces, and now you're going to draw a different character. Now you're going to kind of face swap these two characters. And now you're going to take these two different characters and you're going to merge their faces together. And then kind of eventually you end up with enough of a baseline that kind of by the end of it you should have like a OC or two. And so I'm kind of using it as like a character design boot camp because, you know, we're looking at, you know, this painting I did last week of my cleric. And like, while it's fine, I also think there's some stuff to be desired. And there are some other characters that I have that I'm just, you know, kind of unsure on the actual character design part. So what I actually need to do for this prep work for tomorrow, because that's going to be, I think, day one of the surge, is just find a drawing you like and then copy the line art. Which, hey, easy enough. But let me find a good... I also have a really weird setup, which is why you're now looking at my keyboard, not here. 1 second. Yeah, let me try to find that video. I'll post the link in the chat. And I'll make sure I throw that in the description later if you guys want to use it for, or reference it later. But oh yeah, bud? Oh, Maine. Here we go. Okay, I found a cute witch. Very, very Salem-y. You know. I was in Salem, in Massachusetts earlier this month. And you know, that got on my list of things to draw and I just never got to it. You know, alongside Gutter Punks, or that was Arvid, but Gutter Punks, and the truck from Sorcerer. But you know, I'll get to that list at some point. You know, I'm so far away from drawing cars that, you know, I'll eventually hit there. Let me hit this water cup really quick. But yeah, like last year I did the learn to draw in 30 days, like form and structure and perspective thing. And then I immediately followed that up with the 100 faces, 100 heads. And I probably saw a bigger improvement in those 2 months of drawing basically every day than I've seen kind of before, or that I've seen since. You know, I would definitely say that I'm a better artist than I was a year ago, but kind of the biggest span of growth that I've had kind of since taking this seriously was, you know, when I was doing that kind of 2-month kind of hard boot camp sort of thing. So we are going to... So the thing with these giant goddamn canvases is I have this out so far. And I'm using a big brush. Like, this is a 15 pixel brush. We're gonna go ahead and, you know, I think we're actually going to zoom in a little bit here just for the face. So I'm trying to remember where exactly I learned this technique, but it's really useful with your drawing heads from kind of 3/4 views or from the sides. It kind of gives you 3 of the major lines. So if you want to draw a profile, hey, here's the side of the face, here's the jawline, here's maybe the top of the head if you want it. You know, if I had done it correctly, it probably would have been more like that, and I would have extended this line up more like that. But, you know, from here I can go ahead and and if I ever find out which video taught me that method, I will share that link in the chat as well, or I'll mention it in a future stream. But, you know, we're just going to form our Luma. So there's her ear. Actually, she's got hair in the way, but we've got the jawline here. She has a very large hat, kind of. Going up and in like that, and then over, and then over, and it's just kind of like a big cone. Whoop. And, like, I wish I could just go ahead and, you know, I guess I can. I don't really like just kind of like freestyling faces like this, even though obviously I've got the proportions basically correct. I'm just still kind of at a phase where, especially if we're doing weird angles, like I really struggle with kind of like extreme ups. As I'm now drawing the best like extreme upward face I've ever drawn in my entire life. Just like freehand. But like this angle I really struggle hard with. And you can see that doesn't really look that good. But so we can back up a little bit. So we have that face there. That line is perfect. That kind of is leading really well into this sort of kind of bust line. So, boom, bop, bop, bop. she's kind of... Yeah, the line's more like that, and then kind of chest fills out like that. She's got corseted waist, so she's really kind of thin there. The trick though is so shoulder there. Hair is in front of the shoulder. Yeah, puts the arm there. The elbow is at the belly button. Is where the elbow goes. So she kind of has arm out that way. She's holding a broom, so we'll kind of get that broom out. Other shoulder, other arm. Elbow, and then the wrist is at groin level. So there. That should be the wrist line. Well, actually, hers should be a little bit higher up because she is holding her arm forward, kind of like that. So upper and lower arms are like kind of the same are the same length. Obviously, the lower leg is longer than the upper leg is longer than the lower leg, but also roughly the same proportions. It's actually kind of that thing is going on. That's kind of her foot back there. So this is a little bit... I struggle with clothed figure drawing. Especially once we kind of get into the folds of the dress, I'm going to struggle mightily. Just because I'm just not that far yet. I think the other foot is like there. Kind of the dress is in the way is the issue. So we're kind of dealing with a situation like that there. And this hand is kind of... Anyway. This is our extremely mega rough. We're just trying to get the proportions right. So rib cage, halfway, drawing the breast line. So halfway, it's kind of like that, and kind of like that, and and you've got armpits, and hey, bing bang boom, you've drawn a bust. A lot of that's not going to matter. The important thing is going to be this line right here, because that's the line of that dress. And then we've got the corset thing going like that. So let me go ahead and I know I'm describing something that is not on screen. Let me fix that quick. There. How's that for how's that for science? All right, now you can try to draw this witch with me, should you so choose. Okay, I don't need that layer. We're going to drop that way, way, way down. Science. Bitch. I can say that, right? We're not... Yeah, we're 45 minutes in. YouTube doesn't care. Oh, I don't have my boo. I don't have my boo layer on here. Boo. Anyway, we're obviously not doing cute or scary. We're doing some figure drawing is what we're doing. So I like the real G pen more than the fake G pen, I guess you'd call it, because it's a real G pen. Let's do a bigger one. It's just like a really smooth stroke. Whereas the real G pen has a little bit of texture to it, kind of like, you know, pen on paper. I don't know if it's the paper I use, but I've noticed that when I use like actual real like IRL G nibs, I don't see quite that much texture, but I bet if you zoomed in you would see it, right? But I think I would much rather just dip India ink and draw this on paper and then scan my ink drawing rather than try to mess with this pen. But this is what we're using today. I try not to like match my sketch layer like completely. So you can't always do that. So that doesn't look that good either. You kind of want to match line widths. Line art, my absolute favorite part of this whole process. I just love it. Me with my heavy hand. I mean, I guess you could do stuff like that. I've seen other artists kind of line really heavy and then kind of fake it out like that. But I don't know. I guess that's a way you can do it, to kind of add line weight to your art, but I don't know. It feels like cheating to do it this way. I mean, I don't particularly like coloring either. That's why I did this. Although, actually, this was maybe one of the most fun paintings, I guess you could call it, I've done. And then I kind of, you know, I do have the hat in case I want to go ahead and add the hat, but I would have to like unrender all of this hair. And I kind of wanted to do it. I wanted to like not have it so that I could get like, you know, okay, where's my damn brush? There is. Stop. Need a bigger one. You know, kind of do like a overhead lighting situation. You know, like he's being lit by the moon. And then try to have to blend this back in. Doing all this blending was such a huge pain, man. But kind of I would actually probably take out that white line altogether. darken it a little bit back. You know, kind of like that. Just try to maybe get a little bit of an overhead lighting going there. There are no rules in art. I mean, yes and no. I think that's correct, but there's also, you know, it's like music. There are absolutely there's, you know, theory. So let me introduce you to a 40-minute lesson on drawing teeth. Actually, one of 3 of his. That's just about drawing teeth. But kind of the main thing. We'll go down here. We'll do a new layer too. So kind of the main thing with teeth is, you know, you've got, come on. There we go. You know, you're basically just, you're drawing a D like that. And so, you know, kind of from an open mouth perspective, in like 90% of cases, you can just get away with doing that. You know, and that's fine. If you want to provide like some detail, you can get away with just kind of, basically, unless you're drawing super detailed, anatomically correct teeth. And I actually learned this from art Discord that I'm in. If you do this thing, it's going to look like really uncanny and incorrect. So you're in the majority of cases, you're really kind of, your best bet is to just sort of do the, you know, the white, you know, the white line, the white shape kind of thing. But that video I sent you will help. There's also a sequel. It's called How Many Teeth Should You Draw? That goes into like more ultra detailed tooth anatomy if you're looking to kind of get into that. But anyway, back to our madam. Uh-oh. Did I lose something? Oh, I'm on the eraser. That's why. But anyway, the point I was trying to make about, yes, there being rules in art. It's kind of, there are fundamentals, just like there's theory in music. You need to understand your understand what you're working with, right? Before you go ahead and try to reduce or kind of make changes of the formula. There, it's kind of funny. I was actually thinking about this earlier when thinking about my characters, thinking about character study stuff, and we'll actually go back on the under layer and do pencil. So we've got eyebrow here. That's very thick. Eyebrow here. Eyebrow here. Eyeball, nose, mouth. Anyway, what I was getting at was a lot of like the art I like and the artists I like are, from various parts of East Asia. A lot of Japanese artists. Now there's a very good number of Korean artists in that mix as well. But kind of one thing I've been firm on, kind of from the beginning of getting serious about art, is that I don't really want anime to become like a major part of my art style. I think a lot of young artists, at least the ones online, learn to draw because they want to draw anime. And that's fine. I love anime. I watch more anime and more stranger, weirder anime than a lot of people. But I don't necessarily want that in my art, or to be a core component of my art. And so a lot of what you see is you have either art teachers or people saying, don't listen to your art teacher when they say, hey, you got to learn. Basically, the advice you hear a lot is just go ahead and draw anime if you want to. What's it matter? If you don't like drawing semi-real, don't bother drawing semi-real. But like from my point of view, it's I can almost see the art teacher's points where they want you to start with knowing the proper proportions. You know, knowing how to make a Loomis head, and you know, cut it at the third mark, and cut it at the third mark, and boom and boom and boom. And even this one doesn't look that good. And so you've got your eye line, you've got your nose, and you've got your mouth, and boom. That's how you make a head. Once you understand kind of the basic proportions, then you can go ahead and screw with them. Then you can go ahead and say, all right, I'm going to draw this big ass circle. I'm not going to cut it at all. I'm just going to go like that. I'm going to go like that. Draw these giant eyes and little dot for a nose, and you know, hooray! It you know, hooray! It's anime. Go ahead and do some super spiky hair. You know, I think you have to know what the correct way to do it is before you start doing it in some of the more caricature-y ways. You know what I mean? I think it makes you a better artist. Now, if anime is the only thing you want to draw, if the only thing you're interested in drawing is like anime and manga, or like the Cal art style, you know, here's a Cal arts pervert. It's the Cal arts pervert. Watch out. Then, you know, maybe not, but like, I think it kind of makes you a more well-rounded. To me, the ultimate goal as an artist is that you have your own style that's kind of a culmination of all of the artists that have inspired you over the course of your life, and very specific, a very specific visual library. You know, a very specific visual library and a very specific, you know, that's built on the foundation of, you know, a solid grasp of the theory and fundamentals. If you don't have that theory and fundamentals, absolutely you can make great art. Absolutely you can make great, you know, create great music. But I think there's a superpower in being able to walk into an interview and have someone ask, hey, this is our house style, can you copy it? And then go, oh, absolutely, sure, I can adopt my art to, you know, the Blizzard house style, or this specific studio's house style, you know, while still having your own art, right? You still have your own, the way you draw your personal art, but you have solid enough fundamentals that you can seamlessly fit into a professional environment, right? Like, think about all those artists that, work at Studio Ghibli and have to match Miyazaki's art, you know. Because I can guarantee you that old man is not doing every single keyframe of every single feature length film. He's absolutely maybe keyframing and doing in betweens on, or doing keyframes on certain scenes, but he's not keyframing an entire, hour and a half movie at his age. Like, you have to have artists that are skilled enough to successfully replicate a house style, or do things like in betweens. If you're trying to do in betweens and smudge frames on someone else's art, that takes skill. That's a skill in and of itself, right? But yeah, for me at least, I think there are artists that have that don't go to art school, absolutely. But I would say there are very few artists that are amazing that don't have at least some sort of inherent grasp of the fundamentals, right? Actually, let's be real. This goes way lower. It's covering the eyes, so it's like that. I also think there's just a ton of artists who, use art style and say, this is my art style, kind of as a. I'm not really talking about professional artists, but, kind of people in the same boat as you and I who kind of cover up bad habits and, kind of use or use art style as an excuse for their own kind of bad art habits. Like, they might have some fucked up proportions or things like that, and instead of fixing it, they'll just say, oh, this is my style. So that's what I'm kind of trying to. I'm working so hard at like, okay, this is, these are the three-dimensional forms here. These are the proportions. These are, because when you take advantage and you are cognizant of those things, you do eventually get better art. Okay. Like, I think one of the things I'm going to do in January is I'm going to go really, 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 like, extremely hard and actually learn anatomy and understand, like, all of the bits and pieces of the human form and get that stuff nailed down. You know what I mean? What is going on with that hand? Do I have that zoomed in enough to actually see? Oh, that's really, really low res. Yeah, that doesn't help me at all. Watched a guy on Sunday who tipped me off to use a different resolution pencil and program for lines and color. What do you mean by that? Not quite sure I follow. Yeah, so I'm using a really, really, really fucking big canvas. So what I've got going on here is I've got a 4,000 by 4,000 square. That's what I'm using at 300 DPI. So this is basically a 4K by 4K square. Enormous goddamn canvas. And then what I'm going to do is... Yeah, I've used peppermint before. It's one of the default. That's a good one. But like what I'll do is when I go to export it to a PNG or to a JPEG, yeah, so like I have this is maxed out on my screen while kind of having the full canvas on here. This is at 24% zoom. I'm going to zoom into 100% now. This is 100% zoom. I'm using an 8 pixel pencil. If I want to go down to 1, see how thin that is? You know, we zoom in 200%. Now it's kind of blurry. But, you know, this is 350%. This is 600, 700%. You know. This is going to look good on just about any screen you look at, right? But what I'm going to do is whenever I export it to PNG, there is an option. You can specify the DPI. I'm going to set that shit to 72. And the reason you do that, and so this is for stuff you post on Instagram. So you make your main illustration like really high DPI, really high resolution, and then you crunch that resolution a lot to like really low DPI. And you do that specifically so people can't take your art and print shirts from it, or you know can't take your art and you know print posters from it. It basically makes it useless for the purpose of stealing because it's too low for any printmaker to do anything with. And so that's what I've been posting to Instagram lately is like kind of super low res versions of my super high res art. Not that people are going to steal my artwork and try to make crap from it, but it saves you from the t-shirt bots stealing your artwork. And then what you do is once you have a big enough audience, then you sell the full, you know, you have the full 4K versions of your image available to your patrons or to, you know, people who buy a print or something. You know, you put some kind of cost barrier between your full res versions and your the public, right? So yeah, I'm zoomed in at 100% right now. This looks really kind of like juicy and nice. I'm still using a pencil. This isn't going to be my final line art. This is just me sort of playing around with it. So what I've found, what I'm using right now for coloring, but I'm doing like a really painterly thing, is I found like a brush pack that just mimics the default Photoshop brushes. So I've got a hard square brush. I created a hard square brush that has opacity on it. Opacity tied to pressure, so you get all of these nice little mid-tones. And then, you can come in here and that's kind of that's how I'm doing the hard blending kind of thing. And then I have the same thing softening around brushes. So I've got just kind of Photoshop default soft brush, tied to pressure, tied to opacity. Same with hard brush, just standard hard tied to size, opacity tied to pressure. Or pressure tied to size, pressure tied to opacity. And then there's some additional hard ones that I don't quite understand. Like this 30 no spacing is kind of interesting. And then this hard round no spacing is kind of the same brush but without the opacity part. And for really, like, I did this all with this one hard square opacity brush. Like all of it. The entire thing with just this one brush. And I think it looks pretty alright. You can actually get pretty far just with the Photoshop default brushes. Let's see. I guess kind of going back to what I was saying before, though, I'm in the situation where I don't want anime proportions to become ingrained into my art style. Even if anime is a subject that I personally like, or I'm drawing characters from anime that I personally like, whether that's from a popular one, or if I'm drawing a VTuber, or if I'm drawing whatever it is, right? I want to kind of start with the semi-real, so like the Dutch comic style, like Mobius is kind of where I want to begin a lot of this stuff. And then if I go and I draw something and I specifically hit those proportions, it's because I'm doing it deliberately and not because it's the only thing I know how to draw. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of what I'm aiming at, is I want it to be a deliberate choice on my part versus a hard ingrained facet of my art style. So she's kind of got some frilly stuff going on this arm here. that hand's not too bad. I mean, this is a really sketchy one, but none of these hands are actually that. Not too mad about either of these, actually. It's like one thing I am struggling with right now is like actual like trying to draw mouths the correct way, because like that looks really bad. So I know like if you draw a set of lips like really big, you've got like this V shape. You've got like this rough V shape, and then you've got kind of a design like that. You've got kind of have it mimicked up there. But that again doesn't look that great. Just something I need to practice more. It's going to be part of, I think, next year, January. So like, November I'm going to do this character art challenge. And then in December I'm going to do 100 faces again. And I'm either going to add in like really strong and serious anatomy stuff on individual parts of the face, whether that's noses or lips or ears, or there's always room for more eye practice, right? Always room to do more eye studies. How like the eye is a sphere and the iris actually kind of curves out and around like that. And so the eyelids are actually kind of bending around that extra bulge kind of thing. And so like you can be aware of that, but take some extra time to like get that ingrained, right? Always good to practice that more. Let's see. Already been going longer than I was expecting to. I don't know if I'm actually going to continue this drawing. I mean, I might. Or move on to something else. I can... go ahead and dump all of these in a folder. Oh. There we go. Yeah, we'll maybe go for a little bit longer. There we go. Yeah, so there's that sailboat shape that I learned from before. So from there you can you're using this to kind of get the shape of the shape of the skull. So kind of within there. Maybe not exactly there. Okay. So the neck actually connects a little bit behind the ear. Got that line there, which connects to the jaw. Ears on that jaw line. The neck is a little bit behind the jaw, so like that. We're gonna do something like that. So I'm actually completely freeballing here. I don't have a reference or anything. Just gonna see where this takes us. So we've got bop bop. Kind of want to do an open mouth. So maybe it's kind of like that. Drop that down. like there. Make the nose a little bit lower. And then since we're at an angle, nose is actually going to be like there. I like to draw the big eye sockets. I learned this from a Korean artist named Chamang. Kind of hard to... I think he says Chamang. Chamang. So the issue there is I made those eyes too close. Probably be like... Actually, no. Because we're just doing the sockets. So we could probably do that. We could do that. And the eyes are maybe more like that. So those are the corners. You know what I mean? And bring the lips, bring the jaw a little bit in like that. Because we have an open mouth. Don't know what I'm doing for hair yet, but I think the hairline will be about there. And then it's going to come kind of up, more up and over like that. You did? So like you can see how this like the sailboat thing really gets you close on like this angle, right? You know, I think Loomis works really well when you're doing like a head on kind of thing, and it even kind of works well from the side. You know, it's not perfect, but you know, it gets you close. But I really like the sailboat form because it gets you kind of all of the major, like the important lines. You get the front of the face, you get the jawline, and then with a little bit of work, you can get the top of the head. I think that top of the head's maybe a little bit too round there, but you know, you've got back of the head. And that kind of shows you that the skull is not, you know, the skull from the side is kind of more of an ellipse. Whereas from the front, it's a circle with the sides cut off. I mean, the fact of the matter is that most of this hairline is going to, or most of this top line is going to be covered by hair anyway. Actually, I probably should have drawn his are like way bigger, kind of more like that. kind of thing. And then I'm going to step away really quick and use the bathroom, then we'll come back and maybe get some more sketchy stuff down. All right, I will be right back. You'll have to send me that reference image later, Ian. I'm very curious as to what you're referencing. um, so really quickly, kind of while I'm in the middle of this. Awesome. Oh my. All right. Not kidding about the teeth. Holy crap. um, leaves are fun though. There was a. All right, we'll do. I especially love drawing like really sketchy leaves. So there was a like little reference drawing that that I did in my sketchbook, and I was just kind of doing the leaves, you know, like there'd be like a rope kind of thing. Yeah, there'd be like a rope thing like this, and then I would just come in here and I would just kind of do like little star shapes to kind of make it look like the leaves, and And it ended up looking really good. You don't have to like go and draw. Each individual leaf like super well. There's lots of room for, like, I love this kind of keep the smudging in. Yeah, I mean, what I would try, I would see if you like it. I would try doing the hard brush blending, just to see if you can, just to see what you think. So I mean, the whole idea is you're just trying to make this look as smooth as you possibly can, kind of thing. It takes some practice, but I really, really, really love the look when you do it right. Especially like if you do like a hard, like a gray shape. You do like a gray shape like this, and then you pick like a bright blue or something, and you start kind of going around the edges, and you pick some kind of mid-tone there. You get your brightest point. And you're just like really light with your brush, and you're just trying to you know what I mean? It's a fun challenge, but I love the way it looks when you do it right, because there are kind of like these little bands of color kind of down the value range. Anyway. So we got the head here. Go ahead and add some detail to the mouth here. I think ultimately a lot of the lips is going to come from shading, not so much from line. So I don't need to worry so much about maybe a little bit too, that's maybe a little too snake-like. How do I make this work? Like that? Does that, I mean, I almost feel like this. That tooth is breaking the plane of the mouth, or needs to. Or I need to go even wider. Or I need to open the mouth even wider. In which case the jaw needs to come. You know what I mean? Is that better? I almost want to make the teeth longer, but I feel like I opened the jaw to kind of compensate for making the teeth too long already. It's even further this way. All right, that doesn't seem right. Seems like too big. Is that better? I feel like if I do that, I should then go and do. That's actually a lot better. I think. Right, I'm not wrong there. That's. Or is that now too far? Yeah, that's the same size. So there. Okay, that's too big. Okay, does that look right? Are my proportions off? I mean, I'm ignoring that right there. I'm willing to move this nose if I have to. But there's a giant heart in the way. I cannot read what that says. You can always. Oh, you're right. I'm afraid to flip this game. Oh, God. Oh, God. What's going to happen when I canvas flip? Alright, let's go ahead and. Obviously, this is very off center. Maybe a little better. Probably need to redraw the nose. That's what I need to do. Okay, I think. Okay, now that nose looks way too flat. Yeah, that's actually not that bad. A little bit of upturned nose to it. Damn. All right, I think we're at a point where I'm gonna stop for tonight. We might come back and do this again another night. I'm trying to take a look at my calendar right now. Yeah, maybe we come back on Thursday and we keep this up. I don't hate that idea, actually. We're gonna keep drawing. I'm gonna keep working on this. I'm gonna probably keep drawing a little bit more tonight, but I'm gonna end the stream for now. I appreciate everybody watching. As always, if you've not done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notified bell. I don't stream often. I don't know how often I'm going to stream. I'm still a pretty new beginner artist, as you can tell by the quality of these streams. I kind of know. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but we're just having fun. We're having a good time. I'm drawing what's gonna be a very, very use the word of your choice, vampire girl, here in a little while. This is not the end of this sketch. That's for sure. But this is about as much of this as I'm willing to look at tonight. So, we also did this tonight. Yeah, it was kind of a fun warm-up. We did some gesture drawing today. Also a fun warm-up. This is a good zombie pose. I would probably actually maybe take this pose and make a little zombie from it. But, you know, we've done a lot of drawing. It's already been 2 hours, 15 minutes, but, you know, this is where we're at right now. Next time you see me, I will be in the middle of the art surge. Day 2 is, taking a look at it now. So tomorrow, I just have to find a character. I need to figure out which character. The sooner I get started with that, the better. I don't have a whole lot of time. I run a tabletop game on Wednesdays. So that kind of on Wednesday nights, and between that and a full-time job, that sort of limits my art time. So I gotta figure out who I'm drawing. I gotta figure out what I'm drawing. And then depending on what my day 2 homework is for Thursday, which I'm trying to... Okay, so day 2 is copy a character's face from a couple angles. Yeah, we'll do that. That'll take 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 5-10 minutes per 5-10 minutes per face. Certainly a lot less. Certainly go a lot quicker than we're going tonight on this girl. And probably by then I'll probably have an idea about hairstyle and about clothing and about some other things there. But I'm telling you the truth. I'm sure I've seen this picture in a reference somewhere. I could not tell you where. I'm mostly just kind of drawing this from my imagination. I have a reference that I'm using for like the Scream expression. Although this isn't nearly as intense as the actual reference that I'm using for the mouth open. But I might come back and fix this between now and next stream. But yeah, we're gonna keep drawing this vampire girl because Halloween ends when I say so. Damn it! If I had my way, spooky season would be all year round. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to figure some things out. Get a character ready for tomorrow. And then Who knows? Maybe this time on Thursday we'll go ahead and set some stuff up and keep having some fun here. All right, y'all. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. It is already pretty late, so there isn't much evening left to have, but you know, if you're watching this live or if you're watching the VOD, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking through here. We're going to do more of this. I'm going to get better at art one way or another through hell or high water, and maybe I'll get better at streaming while I'm at it. But anyway, I'm Justin. Thanks for watching the La Artson channel. I'm on Instagram at @jlartson, LARTSEN. Same thing on Twitter, although Twitter kind of sucks. So on Insta and I'm on Blue Sky, the Blue Ski. I know you all are big fans of the Blue Ski. I'm a huge fan of the Blue Ski. At Fried Fish Draws. I think that's what it is, right? Let me check quick. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram at @jlartson. Follow me on the Blue Ski at Fried Fish Draws. Where is my damn... Yeah, Fried Fish Draws at bski.social. And, of course, like and subscribe. And I hope you all have a great rest of your evening. And hopefully see you next time. Later now. Oh. What are we drawing today? Here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. The subscribe button. Caress it. The notify bell. Kiss it on the lips. Alright. Later, y'all.